Hey, what's going on? It's the Happy Medium Guy, happymediumguy.com, Facebook, and Twitter. On the Twitter, it's Happy Medium Guy. Vinny K with you real quick, since it's the first full episode we're doing. My name is Vinny K. I'm a stand-up comic, a DJ, a radio host. I write, and I was asked to do this. And we were going to do this. It took us a while to get the first one going. I'll tell you why. Where do you start? It's the apocalypse, and stuff keeps happening, and more stuff gets weirder and weirder. Where do you start? I don't know. So we're basically going to wing it. We were going to do this beforehand. Now, the folks at Happy Medium Guy, I came up with that name. It was a nickname for back in the days when we ran bars. Happy Medium Guy. You had to be a little drunk to deal with the customers, but you couldn't be too drunk. Happy Medium Guy. That's why I used the name. The reason we call it that is because basically my theory was, and these folks said, well, you got to do this with us. Everybody too far to the left and too far to the right needs to be knocked off. That's how I feel. I think all the country's problems, the answers are in the middle somewhere. Now, honestly, my opinion, things I'm going to be telling you are facts. We do fact checks. My opinion, I think the left is going crazy at this point. I think the left's off the rocker at this point. That's my opinion. But I think all in all, most people want to be in the middle. There should be, the thinking here at Happy Medium Guys, there should be 5 viable candidates for president every year. That's the size of our country, and that's going to fix a lot of problems. Now, we have a lot of protests. They're going to be lining up, petitions. I'll give you an example. One of the problems that we're talking about with the banks. Our government is so corrupt that they don't care about us at all. And I'll give you an example. Now, the banks, mind you, before all this happened, the banks went to the government for more money. The government had to bail them out. Now, there's one of the problems with our country. It's not a capitalist country. A capitalist country, if you fail, you fail. If the banks fail, my name's Billy Bob. I got a good name. I got some money behind me. I'll start a bank. It's not like that anymore. Now, the government, with your money, constantly bails out businesses. That's fine. Some businesses need to be bailed out. But when those businesses get bailed out, let's say they get $1 billion bailout, and then at the end of the year, the CEO who stayed on because he had a contract still gets his $25 million bonus. That's where you got to drag him out of his office and beat him on the street. And I know you sound like a maniac when you say that, but you should. Because if the government's going to give that money, don't keep the failed guy on, cut corners. That's not what they do. The government, as long as they can steal from us, they don't care where the money goes. Now I'll get back to the banks. So before this happened, the banks, the beginning of the year, the end of last year, we got 12 days printed from the Fed to give to the banks because they had no money. Once this happened, the banks went straight to the government. And they said, this is what we're going to do. Give us a bunch of money. And then we're going to let all the mortgage holders give them 3 months free. And then they could trickle it down to their renters. And even me, who don't trust the government at all, said, all right, that makes sense. People are coming together to help us at this point. And immediately, within a couple of weeks, they said, oh, no. You're not getting it 3 months free. You got to pay it all on the 4th month. That's not how they got your money. They got your money by promising giving you 3 months free. And our government, left and right, don't say anything about it. These are the things that need to be brought up immediately. This is the things where you should be rioting in the streets about. You should be at the banks over this stuff because it's ridiculous. The banks, besides that, I'll give you another quick story. This all happened right before Patty's Day. And I have Montauk Radio. All right, so my radio show is the 19th year, Montauk Radio. All the sponsor money comes in August and June. August and July. Those are the 2 big months where sponsor money come in. Patty's Day is a big month, a big weekend out here. Everything shuts down right before that. So my account drops. Stuff comes out. The account's in the red at this point. I get a phone call from Chase. Yeah, your account's in the red. Yeah, I understand that. Can you fix it? No. The guy goes, why not? I go, well, the world stopped, so I just can't fix it. Can you fix it by next week? No, I can't do it. Why not? Because the world stopped. The third time, can you fix it by like April 16th? Yeah, by April 16th, I'll rob your bank if I don't have the money by then. The world stops and nobody cares. Now, I laugh about it because it doesn't matter. But there's single women that are behind on bills and their jobs stop and the world shuts down and a bank's calling you because you're in the red a little bit after they took your tax dollars to help you. That's what happens and nobody looks out for you and nobody pays attention to it. Well, the Progressive Union, Doreen and Tony DiLeonardo, they've been doing podcasts for years, and they're out of Queens. And I find a lot of stuff from them because nobody follows everything. And if the media don't tell you, you're not going to know. And the media don't tell you anything. The media right now, Oreos are still telling you to stay home because they're on the big run to the election and they want to keep people in. That's what they're doing. It's ridiculous. I understand Lysol making you scared because you need the Lysol to clean it or you're going to die. What the fuck is Oreos? I love that I could curse on this. What the fuck is Oreos? Telling me to stay home. Now I'm a Chips Ahoy guy. I'm fat. I'll eat Oreos anyway. But I mean, that's what they're doing. If you noticed, reporters beforehand, they had the mask, but in the beginning of this, as it went on, they had the mask on. Some didn't have the mask on. I'm 6 feet from the cameraman. I have the mask off. Then when they went for this final push to scare you again, bang, all reporters were wearing the mask. I'm not saying there's nothing out there by any means, but every year, every time we talk to a dozen doctors, and we asked one question for Happy Medium Guy, and all these doctors either we know or they do radio circuits, and the one question was, what's going on? It is in April. And that's all we asked, what's going on? And they all went to the same place first. Every year there are viruses out, and they never talk about it, let alone shut everything down. And the second one, all the deaths are going under COVID. Now, this is what drives me nuts. Somebody who got a lot of... so this thing don't stop. Somebody who lost a lot to this, all right? I lost a lot to this. If I even ask a question, you got these crazy... And I'm a liberal for what it means. You know what I'm saying? But you got these people all the way to the left going crazy. Who are you to ask questions? Who am I to ask questions? You're asking us to trust the U.S. government and hospitals, two of the businesses that are known to be two of the most corrupt businesses we've known. The second thing the doctor said was all deaths are going under COVID. So why not? Let us see the deaths. Let us see the total deaths from March to June from every hospital. If there's no motorcycle deaths and no this and no that, there you go. You know the numbers are skewed. How can you not ask questions? How can you be an American and yelling at another American to ask questions? And that's the problem. And another big problem in New York City now. Okay, we know... Listen, I have a lot of problems with Cuomo. I'm sure some people still think Cuomo's doing a good job. I don't care what people outside of the state think. I'm talking about in New York State. Cuomo, I think he's going to lose probably by a landslide, but I think there's still people that are Cuomaniac, what do they call him? De Blasio is a known communist. That's what he is. And him and his wife, he gave his wife $850 million to deal with a homeless problem. And the money disappeared. Nobody ever asked where the money is. And that's the problem right there. I think you should go to his house, start hitting him with a stick until he tells you, right? It's your money. Right now, I bet most of the people watching this, $850. $850 going out of the account's going to screw you. I know it screwed me at this point. I haven't done a real show in 6 months. To sponsor money in 6 months. I don't know what to tell you, but nobody cares. It came out today that Pelosi, who's another one, $3 trillion, no small businesses got helped. Well, very, very few. I don't know if they did it like a lotto, and they said, okay, we'll take care of a couple of small businesses. So we have somebody to point to if they say who got the money. But it turns out she sold a bunch of post office land to help her husband's business. That just broke. I don't have too much information on that. But the thing going on right now, the hot topic was the shooting of the man in Wisconsin. And if you see the video, and this is the problem I see besides the racism with the police. And yes, there is racism. Because I'm giving you on a Wednesday night. On a Tuesday night, at the riots, there was some folks walking around with guns. There was the BLM, and there were other folks walking around with guns. They were white, and they're walking by, talking to the cops. Small town, cops might even know them, but some of them came from out of town, and that's one of the problems. The kid who did the shooting at the riots was a 17-year-old kid. Well, if you see a 7-year-old, he was a white kid. If you see a 17-year-old black kid walking around with an automatic weapon, there's going to be problems with the police, and that's part of the problem. But when you look at the police, the problems with the police, I'm going to take this example only. The man supposedly had a knife, so they had their guns drawn. They said they tried to tase him, it didn't work. But he said he was going to get a gun out of his car and kill him. And that's why they feared for their lives. If you watch the video of it, and we were going to have the TV behind us, so I didn't do it. If you have the video of it, it's basically two guys walking slow behind this man. And then when he gets into the car, he shoots it up. He shoots the guy up in the back. If somebody says, if you're not fearing for your life, I'm going to go in the car and get a gun, it looks almost like he went slow just where he could shoot him when he got into, when he put his hands in the car. You'd probably want to stop him from getting to the car. And because this person, or these two police officers, all this happens again. And it's just spreading everybody apart. It's just making more people racist. And that's what they want. They want us to have their thoughts about everything except for what they're fucking doing to us. And that's the problem. Black Lives Matter turned into two different things here. And the reason being is Susan Rosenberg and the whole Black Lives Matter organization. Susan Rosenberg was a domestic terrorist. She was arrested, I believe, in '84. Got 57 years, white. Got 57 years, but Bill Clinton pardoned her on his way out. So she only spent like 18 years in jail or something. But that's the thing. She's involved with the Black Lives Matter organization. I'm sure the ladies who made the hashtag Black Lives Matter are still involved with it. I see their faces on it. Sure, they got paid. But the money going to them isn't getting spread out. So if you're just donating blindly to them, you're not helping progress for black people. That money's not going to that. Honestly, she should be arrested as a con woman, and then the money should go into receivership, and the government should spread it out to the black communities. But that won't happen. And if anything does come of it, the government's just going to steal the money. So if you just blindly write a check, that's why there's a fight between Black Lives Matter being terrorists, not being terrorists, because there is a terrorist involved with that organization. I'm not saying everybody wanting to defend Black Lives Matter. As a theory, yes, Black Lives Matter. I understand why you say it over all lives matter. I get it. But when you don't protect what's going on, and that's the thing, you got them running amok out there. You have an organization that told people in Ohio, Black Lives Matter in Ohio, well, march into this neighborhood, it's a white neighborhood, and demand their houses. That's not going to be a problem, is it? No one's getting shot or going to jail over that. This woman just wants chaos. That's all she wants. Like the guys who got shot in Wisconsin, it looked like they were reaching for the other dude's gun. You got to remember something. It's like a war out there. It's what it is. I'm not saying don't go and riot, but don't cry if she gets shot when you're rioting, because that's what happens. And the problem with this is, and I want to try to end this. When you go into a situation where it's violent and there's a lot of stuff going on, and I've been there. I've been in my own neighborhood with stuff like that, in giant fights in clubs, on the street, outside of clubs. When you're in a situation like that, it's almost like euphoria. It's almost like you're in a nightclub or you're watching fireworks, because there's so much going on. So you have people in all these cities. You have silent protesters. Fine, you're out there protesting, and that takes balls, because if you're a silent protester, a peaceful protester, you understand you might go to jail, you might get hit with tear gas, you might get shot. Then you have looters. That's a different thing. That's more of a business. If you're going to go looting because you can, the cops ain't going to stop you. More power to you. I don't care, honestly. I'm not getting on either side of that. They ain't letting you work, take a TV. Fuck them. But there's also the looky-loos, and the looky-loos are the majority of people. They show up thinking they should be there, but they don't know what to do. And that's what it's like. It's like euphoria, and you're staring around like, oh my God, look at the colors. Then the guy next to you gets shot, and you're like, oh, this is some real shit. So when you clog people that just mean well, they just don't know what to do, you don't know how they're going to act. I was watching on live TV. I forgot what city it was in. There's so many so far. But there was a guy with a brick. And it was a young girl, like to be like 20, 21, said to the guy with the brick to hit him with it, and tells the guy with the brick to throw it at a cop, and one of the other cops with a rubber bullet, I know, and he shoots back, and the girl gets hit in the stomach with the rubber bullet, turns around to the live TV camera and goes, he shot me, I didn't do anything. You didn't do anything, you just told a man to throw a brick at another man. See, you don't know in your head it's fine. Like you have these kids now setting buildings on fire and they're getting caught looking at 30 years and like 30 years thinking they're going to get a fine. And a lot of this is because people getting in their head. Antifa. I don't know who does Antifa. I don't know who started Antifa. Obviously, it's not anti-fascist. If you're throwing a brick at a truck driver, it's not anti-fascist. Throw one at a Nazi. You know, this Antifa's been around for a while. I haven't seen one Klansman killed and one Nazi killed. So you got to think about who you're listening to now. And you just can't rely on the media. The media is public enemy number one at this point. You realize, I'll tell you how crazy before I end this. The military came out and said that there are aliens. Basically, that's what they said. Last September, everybody wanted to storm Area 51 to see if there's aliens. And then the military was asked to open up a book to show everybody what information they had. And verbatim, it says, we have a spacecraft not made on this planet. And everybody just went, no follow-up question. No, where did you get the spaceship? Are there Martians? Do we have Martians? Are there lizard people? There's lizard people. Nobody. Because we got to look at the shiny thing. Most of the time, the shiny thing's Trump. It's the way they're pushing you at it. They got I'll leave with this one. The last thing they said was the Secretary of State spoke at the Republican convention first time. Usually, if they're Republican, they don't even go to a convention. The Democrats don't go to a convention to show mediocrity, happy medium guy. This was one of the first times that they spoke at the convention. So one of the first times the police in New York are backing a Republican. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm not taking sides either way. I'm very scared of the Democrats right now. Well, not scared of them. They all seem to be skateboarders with maybe a 22, but you know what I'm saying, if that keeps going that way. It's not a good time. That's why we need to keep Happy Medium Guy. Happy Medium Guy on Facebook, on Twitter. We just started the Twitter, so we got to get that up. And the Vinny K Show on its 19th year is on Mod Talk Radio. Mod Talk Radio, daily at modtalkradio.net, or Live 365 app. And we got it... music and stupid stories all day. No shit you got to think about. I'm not that smart. Okay, we'll be back.